For ages, we have lifted our heads to the sky, gazing at that distant red dot, asking ourselves the same question that has puzzled humanity for centuries: are we truly alone in this universe? Is the planet Mars genuinely a desolate, dead desert with nothing but dust and storms? For many long years, the answer seemed to be yes. Mars appeared to be a dead planet, frozen in time for billions of years. However, recently, things have changed. Our advanced rover, Perseverance, has discovered something that made scientists worldwide hold their breath. They didn't just find ancient water or common gases, they found the proof we have been searching for all this time, hidden within a small rock. This rock could potentially rewrite human history and completely alter our view of the universe. Our story begins when the car-sized Perseverance Rover, equipped with the latest laboratories, landed in an area called the Jezero crater. This specific location was not chosen randomly by NASA. Scientists are certain that this crater was once a giant lake, and a large river used to flow into it, filling it with water. Today, we know that wherever there was water on Earth, there was life. This makes this crater the #1 place we should be searching if life ever existed on Mars. One day last summer, specifically in a region we call the Neretva Valley, the rover stopped in front of a rock with an unusual shape. Scientists named it Chiva Falls. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary rock, but as the rover moved its cameras closer and started examining it, the shock became evident. This rock was not entirely red, like the Mars we know. It had bright white veins that turned out to be calcium sulfate. This is definitive proof that water was flowing, and flowing intensely, through this rock at one point. But wait, the water itself is not the surprise, as we have found evidence of it before. The biggest surprise is what they found inside those white veins. They found small, circular spots, like dots arranged in a pattern resembling a leopard's skin, which scientists called leopard spots. These small circles, surrounded by dark rings, might look ordinary to any of us, but for a geologist who understands microscopic life, these dots are a real treasure. Why do these dots specifically mean life? To understand, we must look at what happens here on Earth, on our planet. Specifically, in ancient red rocks that resemble those on Mars, we find the exact same photocopy spots. On Earth, these spots are formed by microbes and bacteria. These microorganisms move into the red, iron-rich rocks and start consuming or reacting with that iron to draw energy and survive. In place of the red iron, they leave behind a white, complete ring-like spot. Simply put, these spots on Earth are the leftovers from the meal the bacteria had. When we find the same spots, with the same shape, and the same chemical composition, including iron and phosphate, on Mars, we are faced with two possible scenarios, and no third: either the nature of Mars is playing a clever trick on us, mimicking life in an astonishing way, or we are now looking, for the first time, at the traces of microbial alien life that lived and died there billions of years ago. And that's not all. The case grew bigger. The Perseverance rover has an instrument called Sherlock. This instrument can smell and identify organic materials. When it scanned the Chiva Falls rock, it confirmed that there are complex organic molecules inside. These molecules are the foundation, or the bricks, upon which life, as we know it, is built. Organic materials can exist in space without life, but when you find them clustered, mixed with the leopard spots, and accompanied by traces of water, the picture becomes terrifyingly beautiful. Now we have three pieces of evidence gathered in one place: water, organic materials, and the chemical traces left behind by microbes when they eat. Imagine what the scene was like 3.5 billion years ago. Mars was not the desert we see today. The atmosphere was thick, the sky might have been blue, and the river was flowing with water, clay, and minerals. In those waters, there might have been simple living creatures, small microbes stuck to the rocks, living their lives happily. But over time, Mars began to die. The atmosphere escaped into space, the water dried up, and everything froze. Those microbes were buried within the clay, which over time turned into rock, remaining hidden there in a time capsule, waiting to be retrieved, until we reached them in 2024. However, although all this seems amazing and exciting, we must be a little realistic. Does this mean we have officially announced that we found life? The honest answer is we haven't confirmed it 100% yet. Science, especially with something this significant, requires irrefutable proof. Although this rock contains all this, it is still on Mars. And while the rover is advanced, its capabilities are limited compared to the gigantic laboratories we have on Earth. There is a slight possibility that these spots were formed by ordinary chemical reactions due to heat and pressure, with no bacteria involved. Scientists call this abiotic processes. This means it could be just hot water mixing with some minerals, creating that shape and misleading us. This is where the role of the next mission, which may be the most dangerous and difficult mission in history, comes into play. NASA, along with the European Space Agency, is preparing for a plan that resembles science fiction movies, called the Mars Sample Return. Perseverance has already drilled a piece of the Chiva Falls rock and stored it in a titanium tube, sealed it tightly, and placed it on the Martian surface. The plan is to send another rocket to land there, retrieve the tube, and launch a small rocket from the middle of Mars to ascend to orbit. There, another spacecraft will intercept it and bring it to us on Earth. This process is very complicated, expensive, and will take years, but it is the only solution. Why? Because the day that sample arrives on Earth, it will be taken to special, isolated laboratories, and the rock will be sliced into very thin sections and examined under electron microscopes, magnifying the image millions of times. At that moment, if they are truly life spots, we may see the microbial cell wall or its fine details. Only then can we announce to the world, yes, life exists on Mars. Today, we stand before a historic moment. Imagine the impact of this news if confirmed. If we find that life began on Mars independently and began on Earth independently, this suggests that life in this universe is perhaps not rare, but a natural rule when the conditions are met. This means the universe is full of life. Our only problem is that we cannot communicate with it. And even if it turns out to be just chemistry, it teaches us a great lesson on how nature can deceive us, and prompts us to go search in other places, perhaps beneath the ice of Jupiter's moons. In any case, our rover is still working there, and we are waiting here eagerly, because perhaps, just perhaps, the answer to the greatest existential question in history is currently resting in a small tube on the red sands of Mars. So, the next time you are sitting on a clear night and you lift your eyes to the sky and see that red star that is Mars, remember well that at that very moment, a rover named Perseverance is working alone amidst the storms and cold, collecting fragments of the truth. This terrifying discovery, if confirmed, will not just be another news report on TV. It will be like a mirror showing us that we are not alone and that Earth is not the only exception in this vast universe. We are no longer just contemplating the stars from afar, we have started reading what is written in them. The story of science has just begun.